My idea for going to the French Open was to see how well I could do at a competition with zero training. But I should say I did a little bit of training on my memory systems because it was like a year, 2 years since I memorized any binary. So I had to at least learn my binary system. And so I got 11th place overall, which is pretty good because I thought I was going to get last or second to last or like finish, very, very, very poorly. But I did okay overall. But there was something I noticed, and this is what really kind of clicked to me when I was going through the different events when I was actually at the competition. And that is, I have a new baseline when it comes to memorization. Now, this is specifically for competition information because with this stuff, you're able to reproduce this and practice it over and over and over again, right? Like useful information, it's more random. You can't compare vocabulary to information in a book or a language or all the presidents. It's a little bit different, so it's not so clear. But memory competition events are very straightforward. And so for this, I put all that time in training back in the day, a lot of training, drilling my systems. And so when I went to the competition, yes, I'm not performing like I would have been back in the day, but I was able still to use my systems effectively and visualize the pictures like I needed to visualize them. Let's take Ben. Ben got second place in the competition, but he said he didn't train at all for the competition. And look where he got, second place. And so for Ben, his baseline is higher than mine. Yes, he put all that time back in the day to become the 3-time world memory champion. All that stuff still carries over, but it's not to the same extent like when he was a champion, but it's still a new baseline for him. And that's the thing. If you're willing to put in the time and effort, it could be a couple months, it could be a year or so, but your baseline for how much you can memorize and how fast improves from where you began. So let's say I just started memorizing and I do all the different events, finish my systems, and it's just a mess. I miss everything. It's a very poor score. I'm like, okay, but I take a break, maybe a month or two break, and I come back to it. Guess what? If I try to do all the events again, I'm going to be at the exact same place I was because I didn't put any time and effort into actually improving and training. But maybe you do 3 months of training, half a year, all of a sudden your baseline starts to move up. And that's your new baseline. Regardless if you take 6 months or a year, you're at least going to perform at that new baseline. Now, of course, if that's where you want to be or not, it's a different story, right? But that new baseline only happens once you start putting in the time into it because it's like muscle memory. Your brain just remembers how to use your systems, how to picture your images. All that is being drilled into your subconscious. So if you do have to pick up a deck of cards and memorize it or go to a competition that you're unprepared for like me, you're still at least able to do decently well considering you didn't do any training. So that's what I found so interesting is that I have this new baseline because the last competition I went to was the Canadian Championship, which I won, and it was literally like a year and 2 months, something like that. And so no training at all, but I was able to at least produce these scores. Now, these scores aren't like my scores where I'm like actually training very seriously, but I'm so proud of being able to do this stuff at that that long of a break from competition. And so the idea from this video is that when you start training and pushing yourself, you just have this new baseline. And the more you train, the more you push yourself, the higher and higher it's going to get. And so even though you could take all this time off, if you put so much time in, you could outperform other people who have been training constantly just because of how much time you put in there. And so it all comes down to how much time are you willing to put in to memory training in order to have this new baseline where, yeah, you don't have to consistently do it every single day, but you still can rely on your memory and have confidence that you're able to use these memory techniques at a very, very high efficiency. And that's what I think is really cool because knowing that, hey, I don't have to train at all in order to do decently well, memorize a good amount of information, and be happy with it. But if I want to get to that next level, then I have to put more training into it. And so that's just something I felt like needs to be shared because it's really cool to think about. Like you can change your baseline to how much you can memorize. just by putting in the time and effort to improving your memory. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time.